Hello and welcome back to my channel. I talk to a lot of women with ADHD who are in the workplace, and a common theme that I've noticed throughout all the women that I've talked to over the past year and a half is that a lot of us with ADHD in the workplace suffer with rejection sensitivity dysphoria, also known as RSD. And for anybody who doesn't know what RSD is, it is perceived or actual rejection from others, or even a rejection of ourselves. And because ADHDers feel really big feelings, rejection sensitivity dysphoria can lead us down the catastrophic vortex of not feeling good about ourselves, feeling like people don't like us, or even being stressed out about our job security. So in today's video, I am going to give you 5 tips that you can use right now, today, the next time RSD rears her ugly head. For anybody who doesn't know me, hi, my name is Sara Kelly. I'm an ADHD coach, and I specialize in helping women who are late diagnosed with ADHD. If you're not already subscribed to my channel and you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you never miss a video from me, because all of my videos are geared towards women with ADHD. And if you are an ADHDer who struggles with chronic overwhelm, rejection sensitivity dysphoria, emotional dysregulation, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, executive function deficits, shame, or a lower self-esteem, I happen to have a free masterclass linked in the description of this video that will take you through the 5 pillars to creating lasting change that I use for myself and my clients to build our self-esteem, because emotional dysregulation and a lower self-esteem can absolutely make our ADHD symptoms worse. So you can check out that masterclass after the video. I'll also give you a reminder towards the end of this video. As well, I have a ton of resources in the description of this video, including one to get on a free call with me to see if my lifetime membership program, ADHD Mindset Mastery, only for women, is a good fit for you. All right, let's get into the 5 tips. And the first tip, when you are starting to feel the effects of rejection from somebody else or even yourself, is to challenge your self-talk. We are so good at telling ourselves that the world is out to get us, or that we're going to come up short, or that we're an imposter in the position that we're at work. And that little voice inside our head, that internal banter that we have with ourselves, truly becomes our North Star. So if we are, say, getting an email from our boss that they want to see us the next day, and we're ruminating on how that is, we're either going to get fired or demoted or written up. That is what we're going to truly believe, because that is what our internal narrative is telling us. And a lot of us have gone through so much rejection in the past. Just a common stat that many people have heard before: the average child by just age 10, diagnosed or undiagnosed with ADHD, will hear 20,000 pieces of negative feedback. We also fall into negativity bias. Our brains are inherently negative, whether you have ADHD or not, to keep us safe. And this goes back as far as the primitive years, where we were protecting ourselves from being eaten by that saber-toothed tiger. But the little voice in your head who is constantly telling you that you're not good enough, or that you're going to be in trouble, that you've come up short, is not a rational voice. It is an emotional voice based on things that have already happened to you, based on the fact that ADHDers struggle with rumination and black and white thinking. And so bringing in just a smidgen of that logical brain into the conversation of, maybe my boss wants to see me because they want to promote me, or this is just a scheduling issue, or something to that effect, can allow us to not ruminate and spiral out of control. And if you're unable to do that, just try to switch the station in your brain to something else. Go outside for a walk, put on a funny show, talk to a friend where you can maybe verbally process your emotions, but don't necessarily believe that little voice in your head. And my caveat to talking to a friend is making sure that that friend understands that you just want validation of your feelings, not necessarily the catastrophe that you've created for yourself. Now, this second tip is a common theme amongst the hundreds of women that I have talked to who have ADHD, and that is to embrace feedback. It's not always an attack on you as a person. Sometimes it is. There are not very nice people who like to put us down and like to make us feel bad about ourselves. But there's also people who just give feedback in the workplace in a very non-emotional or trying to hurt you type of way. Think of constructive feedback as a way to have a bird's eye view to your own blind spots. And I do believe in intention. And I really want to go back to, there are people out there who are on power trips or who like to put us down. And when they're doing that, that's not right. That's a boundaries issue. I do have a video on boundaries linked in the description of this video that you can watch if you do struggle with healthy boundaries. But it's not always an attack, and you can always get curious about someone's intentions when they're giving feedback by asking the simple question, can you explain a little bit more of what you mean by this feedback you're giving me? Now, number 3 has to do with interrupting impulsivity and interrupting that spiral of the beginning of becoming emotionally dysregulated when we are feeling the effects of RSD, and that is practicing the power of the pause. And all the power of the pause is when you start feeling triggered like RSD has come in. Instead of being reactive, instead of sending that reactive text or that reactive email, giving yourself 24 hours to step back from the situation and not be reactive can save you the buyer's remorse of saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand you correctly, and I'm sorry I overreacted about this situation. Now, during this 24-hour period, when you're practicing the power of the pause, I'm not saying that it's not a good idea to go into your notes on your phone, not into your email, because we don't want to press send by accident, and to write that email or to journal and to be able to get all of your feelings out. But don't react until you've had time to step back, take more of a bird's eye view on the situation, and to make sure that all of your reactions are done when you are completely emotionally regulated. By doing a little bit of pre-planning before you respond to someone and giving yourself 24 hours to cool down, you will have the ability to articulate yourself a little bit more gracefully. As well, you might come to the realization that you were just being a little bit more sensitive and maybe the situation isn't as big as what you initially thought it was. Now, if you're liking this video and you're finding it helpful, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you could give me a like, maybe comment and let me know how RSD has shown up for you in your job and what you're currently doing to alleviate the effects of rejection sensitivity when she rears her ugly head. Now, tip number 4 definitely follows tip number 3, which was the power of the pause. And that is to ask before assuming. But please make sure you practice the power of the pause before you ask the person who has triggered rejection sensitivity dysphoria in you. And if your RSD is coming from perfectionism, I do have a video pinned in the description of this video on how I deal with perfectionism when I'm faced with it. A really good thing that you can ask somebody when they respond to you in a certain way that makes you feel rejected is, what do you mean by that? What is your intention with telling me that? Using I statements is really, really important. And it's a way to not have a combative interaction with another person. So for example, you wouldn't go to someone and say, you're making me feel really bad. Why are you attacking me? Instead, you might say, when you said this to me, it made me feel a little bit bad about myself, and I'm really not sure what your intentions were in articulating yourself this way. Am I just being a little bit sensitive, or did I just for some reason misunderstand your intentions with how you approached me on this situation? And my final tip Tip number 5 is to celebrate all your wins. We're so good at looking at where we've come up short. Making a list of everything that you've done right while you're on the job, all of the accomplishments that you've achieved, all of the micro accomplishments that you've achieved, not just the big ones. Starting that list of how you are an amazing employee, manager, business owner, or whatever your role is in your profession is a great way to start weighing the good against the bad within our own thinking patterns. Neuroplasticity works for everybody, and it works really, really well for those of us with ADHD. I want you to think of a lush forest. And this is your brain. This is an analogy for your brain. And this forest has a pathway that is traveled every single day. And all of the foliage has been cleared with the things that we're saying to ourselves. So some of these things might be, I'm not good enough. I screw everything up. Nobody likes me. If I'm not perfect, I don't deserve a seat at the table. If they only knew how much I was struggling internally, they would know how much of an imposter I was in this position and I would lose my job. By celebrating your wins and celebrating your progress at work, you have the opportunity to change the path in this dense forest. And it feels really uncomfortable at first. But if you start documenting all of the things that you've done right, if you start documenting all of the wins and all of the assets that you bring to the table to make yourself a stellar employer or entrepreneur, then you start creating a new neural pathway in that forest. And at first it's really uncomfortable because there's so much foliage in the way. There's so much garbage in the way of what we've said to ourselves, some of the feedback that we've received from others and what we believe about ourselves. But documenting your successes, documenting your wins, and focusing on where you shine instead of illuminating where you've come up short is the essence of neuroplasticity. And if you do this for long enough, then that path that was clear, that was the negative Nancy path of I can't do anything right, it starts growing back. And the path of where you are succeeding and where you are moving forward in your life and your career in a positive way starts clearing. And it becomes a much easier path to walk the more you practice it. Try it and let me know how it works for you. And just a reminder that I have a ton of resources linked in the description of this video. I have a burnout and overwhelm guide for professional women. I have a mindset masterclass, and I also have a link to get on a call with me. As far as I know, I am the only ADHD coach, certified ADHD coach. I have formal training. I don't just lean on my own lived experience, who offers a lifetime membership program exclusively for ADHD women. So if you're interested in getting on a call and talking to me personally, the link is in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with an ADHDer you love, and I will see you next week in the next video.